Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, June 25th, 2025, we're jumping straight into some major global headlines and regional tensions. Our goal, as always, is to cut through that noise and give you the clarity you need on how these events connect.
Exactly. Because these things that might seem separate, a summit here, a treaty dispute there, they really are interwoven. Understanding them quickly gives you, well, a much better perspective on the bigger picture.
Okay, let's start with that high-stakes summit then. We're looking at the NATO meeting in The Hague. Big news coming out of the talks between U.S. President Trump and Ukraine's President Zelenskyy.
That's right. Two key things on the table. First, Ukraine is urgently seeking more defense aid. They desperately need those air defense systems.
Absolutely crucial for them. And the second point,
New sanctions against Russia. Specifically, the idea of lowering the oil price cap. The mechanism meant to limit Russia's war funding.
they're talking about dropping it from $60 down to $45 a barrel.
Precisely. But here's where it gets interesting, and maybe a bit complicated. Reports suggest Donald Trump is reluctant to push for these tougher sanctions.
Reluctant. What's the fallout from that?
Well, you're seeing clear frustration bubble up among European allies. It sort of exposes potential cracks within NATO unity on how hard to push back against Russia. It raises questions about the alliance's cohesion moving forward.
Yeah, that friction is definitely something to watch. Okay, let's shift gears now, moving from Europe to South Asia, where tensions are simmering.
Simmering is right.
Pakistan has just extended its airspace closure to all Indian aircraft, commercial and military, for another month. That takes it up to July 23rd.
And this is the third month in a row.
Third consecutive month. It's a clear sign of escalating strain between the two countries.
And this airspace issue, it connects directly to another pretty significant development happening within Pakistan.
Which is?
BPP chairman, Bilal Bhutto Zardari. He's a major political voice there. He delivered a really stern warning in Pakistan's National Assembly. It's about the Indus Waters Treaty.
Ah, the water sharing agreement. That's been around for decades.
Over 60 years, it's generally been a point of, well, relative stability, considering everything else. But Zardari is demanding what he calls fair sharing, and he added a serious threat.
A threat? What kind?
He essentially said that if Pakistan doesn't get what it deems fair, it will assert control over all 6 rivers covered by the treaty, not just the ones currently allocated to it.
Wow. Assert control over all 6 rivers? That sounds incredibly provocative. Is that a credible threat, practically speaking?
Look, the rhetoric is definitely dialed up,
Yeah.
but actually trying to unilaterally change a treaty like that, immensely complex. The geopolitical and economic risks for Pakistan would be huge.
So more likely a pressure tactic.
I'd say it's primarily a strategic move, yeah. A way to force the issue, push for talks, exert leverage, less of an immediate plan to seize control, which would likely backfire quite badly.
Understood. Amid all this high-level diplomacy and tension, we also need to acknowledge the human element and some pretty unexpected political moves.
Sadly, yes. There was a tragic incident in Kuram district, northwestern Pakistan, a landmine explosion.
Yeah, reports say 4 people were killed, several others wounded. It's an area with a difficult history of sectarian violence, and investigations are underway.
A grim reminder of the instability on the ground.
And then, shifting tone completely, we got this real curveball. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and the Deputy PM Ishaq Dar have apparently recommended Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes, the 2025 prize. It certainly raised eyebrows.
To say the least. What's the justification reported for that?
Their stated reason is Trump's supposed role in de-escalating tensions between Pakistan and India. Now, given the current airspace closure and treaty rhetoric, that's a claim that's sparking, well, considerable debate and criticism within Pakistan itself.
I can imagine. It definitely highlights some complex political calculations.
Absolutely. And while all this political maneuvering is happening, we can't forget the environment. The Pakistan Meteorological Department is forecasting the first monsoon spell hitting the region.
Right, starting today, June 25th, and running through early July.
Correct. Expected to bring rain, thunderstorms, strong winds, especially impacting Karachi and eastern areas. And, these monsoons often mean more than just weather.
Flooding, disruption.
Exactly. They add another layer of challenge: humanitarian concerns, resource strain to a region already juggling political instability. And these resource disputes, like the water issue we just discussed, it shows how environment and politics are just deeply intertwined.
So, wrapping this all up for you, our listener, quite a landscape today. We've touched on the NATO summit dynamics, Trump's stance on sanctions, the rising Pakistan-India tensions with the airspace, and the Indus Waters treaty threat. that tragic incident in Karam, the unexpected Nobel nomination.
And the looming impact of the monsoons.
It really paints a complex